Welcome to the Tonya Hofmann's fabulous TV show. I am so excited today because I have not one, but two fabulous guests. Mr. Barney Kraemer, yay! Hey, Barney.
Yay! Yay!
And the incredible, the fabulous Mr. Tony Wilkins, yay!
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 Give me a little bit more now. Yay. Okay.
Yay! We can see a little bit.
Yeah.
So we're going to have an incredible time today. Remember that you can book both these incredible people, including myself, and find out all about us on Public Speakers with an S, Association, all spelled out.com. And you can find us there under the speaker search tab. So just simply type in our name and there we are, we pop up. So it's a lot of fun. Also, if you haven't been involved with the Public Speakers Association, get involved. We would love to have you on my show next time. So today what we're going to talk about is a little bit of just fun information and really how things are working, right? And I know, Tony, you do a lot in the event industry, and you just wrote like an article in your Podium magazine, correct?
Yeah, I had been getting so many emails from speakers who were saying that, how do you do conferences? What do I need to know? How do you make money at it? That sort of thing. And there's this debate in the speaking community. And Barney, I don't know if you know this, but Tonya, I know you do. And a lot of speakers will say, I don't pay to get on somebody else's stage. And one of the things that I always say is that, I'm not running a nonprofit, and hosting a conference is expensive. There are certain things that you absolutely need to charge for. And so, one of the things that I tell speakers to do is you charge speakers a nominal fee to cover your overhead, because speakers want to get on stages and they recognize if they're paying attention and they're really thinking about it. If they're paying a nominal fee, depending on the number of attendees that are going to come, they're going to make that money back and then some. They're going to get a really good return on investment. So, for example, I generally don't charge any more than $150 for a speaker to get on stage. And part of the reason why I do that is because there's overhead. You've got room rental, you've got advertising, you might have to hire somebody. If you're going to have an AV, you're going to have to do that. And you've got to come up with this money some kind of way. So that's a really good way to sort of offset that. And then, of course, you've got table rentals, and you've got general admittance tickets, and you can sell advertising and sponsorships and that sort of thing. There's a whole business to doing conferences, and you know that better than anybody.
Well, and I think that what kind of gets people the mindset wrong, right, is speaking is just a marketing platform. So if you look at it as just part of your marketing for your business, paying $150 is like nothing to get in front of a potential crowd who could really buy something from you.
Right, exactly. And if you have, and here's my thing, if you've got 50 people, let's take a small scale conference. You have 50 people sitting in front of you, and you paid $150. If you can't turn one of those people into a client, you need to rethink what you're doing, because you have an opportunity to really get in front of people. I'll tell you something else that really sort of chaps my hide. See, I cleaned that up. Chaps my hide is when speakers get in front of their target audience, and then they don't do any sort of follow-up. That's where the money is. That's where the money is. That's what, when you say, you're not making any money or whatever. Well, yeah, you may not make it immediately, but part of what you have to do as a speaker is you have to keep your name in front of your target audience.
I know. I just did this whole thing on how to do contests last night for the association, right? How do you take that crowd? Because if you don't continue the conversation with them, not only are you losing money, but you're also not building an actual relationship with that audience, So you got a little form for them to fill out or something. It's very impactful long term.
Right. And Barney just did a small conference recently. I was one of the speakers, and thank you for that. And Barney made money. I made money. Tina Greenbaum, who's one of the other speakers, she made money. It was a learning lesson, learning experience. Barney can probably speak better to that. But I really enjoyed myself. I had a really great time. Met some nice people, and I think it was absolutely worth it. Barney, do you wanna chime in?
Yeah, thank you. I think you're right, spot on. The first time you do one of these things, I took that on knowing that I had a ton on my plate and it got a lot worse. And frankly, I didn't put the effort into it that it takes to really make it work, because it doesn't just happen. Unless we are Tony Robbins or somebody who's got a standing list behind them, I don't know if he still does or not, you're going to have to work at getting people to attend. You got to give them a reason. Frankly, the competition is so far beyond what it was 10 years ago, 20 years ago, 30. I've got 3 different webinars. They wanted to schedule me to attend the webinar at the same time this morning. And of course, I have people that are helping me. They're part of my reciprocal relationship. But you're absolutely right. And the real key to this is to understand that that's an opportunity to create a relationship in a way that's a lot more powerful in person, live, than anything you're ever going to do over any media, whether it's television or what. And I know
and I think, especially with your skill on leadership skills, it is the ultimate leadership position to put on an event and say, this is my event, come to it, right? And there's hierarchies of leadership. And when people put themselves out there that far, it shows that you're someone that you need to pay attention to.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, to be able to even get somebody, it's the reason I took my course and put it online, is because the old days when you could actually get somebody to hold still, even one person at a time, for a half hour and 45 minutes for an appointment, that almost doesn't happen in today's world. And so it is an opportunity. I mean, how many doors would I have to knock on to get 15 or 20 or 30 people to listen to something that I've got to say that could be of value to them? Let me tell you, that's probably the way the world works now. That's probably a month's worth of work, and I can do it in a half hour if I can get them there. So,
can I share with you why I started doing conferences?
Yeah,
because this wasn't even something that was really on my radar until I guess a couple of years ago. I started doing conferences because I got really sick of submitting proposals to a lot of these conferences, and they would come back, it's a great topic, but we've already got somebody, and that sort of thing. It became really frustrating. Plus, I've got a booking service, so part of what I'm doing is I'm looking for speaking opportunities for myself as well as my clients. And then it suddenly dawned on me, what's the first rule of thumb in being an entrepreneur? When people won't hire you, you hire yourself. You create the opportunity that you want. And so that way, and if you create a really good one, then other people will hear about it. They will want to be a part of it. And part of your job as an entrepreneur is to figure out how to make money at it. Right. And so the simple explanation for me was I just wanted to get on more stages, and people weren't giving me necessarily the opportunity. I was doing okay, but I knew I could do better. And I said, what, create the conference you want, and then you can bring people along.
Well, that's why I did my very first in 2010, because I had done conferences since 2006, but they were more like vendor shows, and I had one that was a little bit of a coaching that was kind of an element to it, but they weren't like speaker shows. And I thought, well, here I could put this on. That will give me stage swapping ability too, so I can get onto other people's stages. But I'm going to put it on a cruise, and now I'm going to be an international speaker because I'm going to be in Honduras and Mexico. And suddenly I got billed, and people were like, oh, wow, look, she's traveling, she's doing all these different things. It like completely jumped me up a level.
Right. It absolutely gives you sort of the so that you're not hunting for business. People are coming to you. As a matter of fact, I got just yesterday 3 people, speakers from all over the country, that have emailed me and said, well, I didn't know anything about the women's conference. I just stumbled upon it. Is it too late to register? And I'm like, yeah, for this year, but we're having another one next year.
Yes.
And I've had to tell men, sorry, you can't speak at the men's, you can attend, but you can't speak at the women's conference. So it's been kind of a learning experience for me. It's certainly been rewarding.
Yeah.
I'm generating revenue, and people are hearing about, Tony Wilkins, and he's doing these conferences. As a matter of fact, both of you are going to be speaking at Tech Code in February. That's going to be the big conference. It's going to be streamed live from Silicon Valley to 21 different incubators around the world. That's going to be a huge opportunity.
Yeah, I can't wait.
So
well, and this brings us to the question. I mean, Barney, when you're looking at leadership, a lot of it, if you're looking at both Tony and I and yourself, it takes you to that level of the connection factor, right? Because if you're always looking at doing things by yourself, you're probably not moving very far, right?
Absolutely. Yeah, it isn't who I know that's nearly as important as who does somebody else know that I need to know. And because of that, and because of the confidence in our relationships, in fact, Tony, while we're talking, I'm just thinking about a website that I'm new at, an application, and it's a discussion back and forth. And frankly, most of it has been disappointing. I think it's a lot of people that knew. They've got a lady that does a huge conference, apparently in Charlotte, who's looking at stepping away from, she's put it on and been in charge of it, and now has somebody else that's taken over that is apparently not doing a good job, and she's looking at stepping out and doing her own. And I asked the questions, what do you need? How can I help you? And a couple other thoughts, just made a suggestion. I said, maybe what you need to do, how do I fund this? I don't have a lot of money, yada, yada. I said, why don't you think about getting some sponsors? And so while we're talking, it's dawning on me, why am I talking to her when you're the guy that needs to know needs to be able to tell her how to put that on, how to go about it. And apparently it's a bankers convention, which is bingo. You're right at the heart of a whole, because that's what Charlotte's all about, is a banking industry. So I suspect it's a very large, successful convention. It's beginning to have some problems based on what she said. I'm going to refer her to you later on this afternoon. I told her I had too much on my plate to deal with it this morning, but I said I'll talk to you later in the day.
Yeah.
So there you go. So, and you're exactly right. I know how well what I do works, but if I can't get somebody to hold still at least long enough to start thinking about, am I really as good as what I think I am?
Yeah.
And it's not my call. I mean, my call simply is to say, look, here's what it takes to be a good leader. Where do you fit in this process? And, of course, that's the toughest dialogue to have somebody. You can't say, you got serious problems. Let them discover it for themselves. The online tool that I'm now using, as you know, Tonya, you've seen what it does. It has an assessment. It's a self-assessment. They discover from themselves where they're really at. Are you where you want to be or not? If you're not, then I have three different paths to create a dialogue with that person I would never get a chance to talk to, because they're not about to say, unless it's a crisis, leaders most of them don't see that they've got a problem.
Yeah.
Yet in fact, that's why they've got the crisis, because they really didn't have the skills to navigate the waters that are getting tougher and tougher and tougher.
Well, and I think this is also the problem with the events and putting on an event and all of those kind of things too, is a lot of times leaders, they do things, we're like movers and shakers. We're out there, we're just going. And then we look around and we're like, oh, we're all by ourselves. So I guess we're really not leaders.
Yeah.
They're so far behind their troops or in front of their troops, the troops don't know where they're at. I like that.
But I think, for me anyway, because people always ask me, how can you do everything that you're doing? You're a real leader. And I don't think of myself as a leader. I think of myself as someone who has had to create opportunities. And when I create opportunities, I'm the type of person where I say, come with me. I know nice people. I know some not so nice people, but I know nice people, and I want to work with them. Come with me and let's share in the bounty. If this turns out really well, it's a win-win for everybody, and everybody's happy. And then, and that's kind of how you build relationships and trust, and and that sort of thing. And to Arnie's comment earlier, if you do a conference and you may not necessarily get the turnout that you want, come on in, it's open. Sorry. And you do a conference and you don't get the turnout that you want. That's okay, because you keep doing it, and eventually, you'll get there. Once people find out who you are and what you do, and they like what you're doing, then it's a good thing. So,
well, everyone, I have never met even the most famous of people who hasn't put on a webinar, a conference, a something where nobody showed up. So this whole concept that everyone just starts off at the top is just malarkey.
Exactly.
You got to build it, and sometimes it is one person. But that's the one person. Yay!
Yay! You get that person, and that's what you want. You want to give that person that attention. As a matter of fact, one of the things that I said to Barney, and I say this to everybody, is you cannot focus on the people that don't show up. You have to focus on the people that do. It's sort of like being a comic. It's if you focus on that one heckler, it'll throw you off your game every single time.
I know.
If you focus on the people that love you, that's gonna really take you further.
Well, it's like even the other day, I did a webinar, and I'm doing it, kind of a give back, and it's also a great lead generation too, but bling-ching in a business thing. And I was talking about reoccurring income and how to connect with people and utilize other people's people. And some random guy that was there posted on the chat window, "This is your big secret?" And I'm like, okay, well, obviously the other people were like writing down, and they were like all in. I'm like, you forget that it's not always about something for you. If someone talks to me about something I already know, I'm gonna be like, oh gosh, I already know that. But it doesn't mean that the guy next to me doesn't.
Yeah, exactly. And Barney, I know that this is a new arena for you. You're the leadership expert, and you're a terrific speaker. And I think, if you continue to do this, and you might tweak here and there, I think you're going to be fantastic. That's the reason why you and I are working together, and
Well, thank you.
And I love watching people progress. Right? I love seeing them do something that you're like, okay, that could be tweaked, but wow. It's like when I saw you speak at Tony's event this last time, right? And you were like about to beat everybody with the microphone. It was like awesome.
I've taken a survey on that microphone, by the way. Surprisingly, most didn't pay attention to it, because somebody that's trained in doing it, I've been a Toastmaster, not anymore, but 10 years, that would have been the first thing I said, lose the microphone.
We all start off doing something we shouldn't. Mine used to be, touching my hair. I'd always be like fluffing my hair and stuff.
Right.
And the lady was like, would you stop touching your hair? And I'm like, I don't touch my hair. Oh my God, why does my hands keep coming to my head,
Yeah.
But you know what? I always think about something that you said, and there are a lot of things that you say to me, Tonya, that really sort of resonates with me. And, so I do pay attention to you. You're one of those people that if you told me something, I actually listen. But you said something to me where you said, I'm this perfectly imperfect speaker or person. And I love that. So, when somebody comes up and they want to give me their 2 cents, I just say, you know what, I'm not interested, but thank you, but I'm not interested, because I look at it as, if I haven't figured it out at this point, at this stage in the game, because I've been doing it for 30 years. I'm not going to figure it out. And I'm not likely to change, to be perfectly honest with you. It's only going to make me more self-conscious. So, I want to say thank you. I learned something from everybody. Barney, I learned patience. Barney is probably one of the most patient people that I've ever met. He's always in a good mood. I usually will call one of you two to, bitch and moan about something, and you all just sort of let me rant, get it out of my system, and then I'm okay.
Yeah, we all need our rain day club,
That's what friends are for.
Yeah, that's what we do. Absolutely.
Yeah, I've been reading a book called, I forgot the guy's name, I've got it around here somewhere, Filling Your Bucket, and he talks about being raised in a positive environment, and he's written 2 books, and he has tumors and cancer and all kinds of challenges, and he's had this since a young person, but he had a family that was always filling his bucket with positive ideas. And if we're going to be happy in life, and I think that's when I define success, a great deal of that comes, am I happy? Am I getting to do what I love doing? Am I putting food on the table? And it requires, nobody wants to be around somebody that bitches and whines and complains about everything that goes on in life. And I know exactly how to do that. So, I hear my own tape once in a while when somebody complains to me, and I hang out with people that do just what we're doing here.
Yeah.
I know that I'm going to walk away from this session feeling a lot better about who I am and the people that I'm working with, and about what our real purpose in life is, and that's helping each other.
Yeah, and especially when you start getting this kind of core group that has your support, that they're looking out for you, and it's not just a numbers game. And I think that's where a lot of the speakers out there nowadays, they become very transactional, go in, take and grab, and then leave. And to me, that's not what business is about, and it's not what my life's about. I want relationships that I can think of people, and it makes me feel good.
They have to be for me, they have to be at the core of it. If I don't like somebody, I just probably, unless you've got something I need desperately, I'd rather go do business with somebody else. That I do enjoy doing business.
And that's important. Well, I mean, to that point, and we've had, the 3 of us have had this conversation, many times. When I am choosing the speakers that I want to work with, particularly for special projects, this one coming up in February, that's going to be a huge opportunity. One of the questions that I ask myself is, who do I want to work with? Who do I like? Who's been nice to me? And who's not going to be a pain in my rear? And you have to look at, the projects that you're bringing people on, because that's your name, that's your reputation, that's your blood pressure. Because what you don't want is someone coming in and sort of making a mess in front of people that can really possibly help, elevate your career. The thing that I mentioned to both of you, particularly this event coming up in February, is this is Silicon Valley. We're going to have a lot of eyes on us. And so you can't afford to work with people that you don't like or don't trust. So I think you're absolutely right. You have to choose your partners very, very carefully.
Always. Now, Tony, how do people find the article that you wrote in your magazine?
Oh, it's Podium Magazine. The easiest way is just to email me, because they have a tiny URL and it changes every month. So if you email me, I can send you just the article, or I can send you the link to subscribe to the magazine. But my email is awil267487@aol.com. You can also learn about speaking opportunities that I've created. I've got 8 conferences coming up next year, plus I'm doing webinars and a bunch of other things, and partnering with people, and that sort of thing. Plus we've got the new directory that's coming out in January of next year, which I'm really excited about. So.
Perfect. And Barney, how about you? Do you have anything you'd like to offer people or get them connected to you?
Yeah, just probably my email or the website's the best. The email is Barney, BARNEY, @smra1.com, and the website is www.smra1.com. smra1.com. And I mind those things.
SMI?
No, SMRA,
RA.
the number 1.com. And I watch those things meticulously, particularly if you reference the Tonya Hofmann show or something, that because I really do have that sensitivity to making sure that I never ignore somebody that's taken enough of their time and interest to try to connect with me. And I think that demands a response of some sort. So, I watch that, and I think that's one of the biggest challenges that I see in our whole world today is that people ignore the follow-up piece of it.
Yes.
You see it lots of times, and that's sad because it says something about you. If your only response is to something, what's in it for me, if that's your first question, then maybe you shouldn't even be communicating with other people.
Exactly. Yeah, you always have to watch what you're really projecting to the world because it has a tendency to come back.
If I'm too powerful to answer your question or at least say thank you for the reply, no thanks, then I'm too powerful, period.
Yeah, people are always like, "Oh my gosh, I can't believe you have your cell phone on your, on your business cards and stuff." I'm like, I want you to get in touch with me.
Yeah, call me. You'd be surprised how many nights I stay home with the prom. I stayed home with the prom without a date.
And there, let's not even go there.
Yeah.
No, but it's, you'd be, to that point, you'd be amazed at the number of people that will say, I don't have a business card with me, or I don't have a business card. But I had one guy who was like, well, if you look me up on Google, you'll be able to find me. I'm like, ain't nobody got time for all that.
I know.
What's wrong with you? It's like,
there's this whole thing with, celebrities don't walk around with business cards, so they don't hand them out. I'm a celebrity, so shouldn't have business cards. I'm like, A, you're not a celebrity, and B, their assistant has the business cards. So this whole mindset of, I don't need a business card. I'm like, we're just wasting people's time,
Yeah. Absolutely.
All righty. Well, we're winding up at the end of the show. I want to remind everyone to go to publicspeakers.association.com, and there's lots of goodies there that you can take advantage of. There's all the past summits and how-to-a-thons that we've done, and you can listen to incredible presentations and tips that you could take advantage of and listen to them over and over and over again. But there's a lot for you to choose from and all kinds of variety of opportunities. I know Tony and Barney have both been on there, so go back and listen to incredible presentations. We also, again, if you're looking for a speaker, you need someone on your show, your next event, you just want to connect with them, go to Speaker Search. It's all right there on the Public Speakers Association website, including all of these great TV shows, so you can go anytime there. Also, we have our next conference coming up is publicspeakersconference.com. It's going to be July 1st and 2nd is what we're going with right now. We're waiting for the official signed copy of the contract at the Golden Nugget in Vegas. We are so excited. It hits right up against July 4th, so I'm sure we're going to be sticking around and having fun and seeing fireworks. I can't even imagine what Vegas is like on July 4th. So. And
I just want to remind people of two things. Number one, we're going to be speaking at the PSA. We're doing a teleconference tomorrow at 3 p.m. And we've got several speakers that are going to be offering different tips and suggestions and that sort of thing. That's number one. Number two, I want to say thank you to you, Tonya, because and I'm not gonna trash another organization, but here's what I will say: your organization, the PSA, has been so wonderful to me and so supportive to me in a way that other speaking organizations have not been. And I can't tell you what that means to someone like me. That's really, really important. You rarely ever say no. You are supportive. You ask me what I need, and you're there for me, and that's really important. Thank you.
You're welcome. Well, right back at you. It has to be a mutual relationship,
And Tonya, I want to echo Tony's thoughts on it. You've been You've been great to me. I looked at everybody that was a speaker that had a show as a minor deity for probably a year until I realized they were humans and a lot of nice humans. And you treated me very kindly. And I do have a webinar coming up on the 20th of October that I think will be really interesting. And you're going to be able to find that if you're already on one of my lists. You'll get a number of notices about it, and you'll also see it on Facebook and LinkedIn and Twitter and whatever social sites that are out there. So thank you, and thank you again for your friendship.
Perfect. Yeah, and don't forget to put that up on our event calendar. So that's another great way for everyone to find out what's coming up.
I got to put the...
anytime y'all have events, put it up on there.
Yeah.
All of yours, Tony, for the next, 20 years. All righty, everybody. I will see y'all all next time on the Tonya Hofmann's fabulous TV show. Have a great day and stay fabulous. Bye.
Thanks,
Tony.
Tonya.
Thanks, Barney.